There we go. Okay, hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to show you the haul that came in. 2 pounds of cinnamon sticks. Now, as you know, Loki loves cinnamon. And instead of going into a lecture about cinnamon properties and such, magical uses, I want to talk a little about, like, why do we have all these things for Loki that obviously, you know, you would say are imported from other traditions. I don't think there are too many cinnamon trees in Germany. But and you'll notice if you do your research and you're familiar with other paths, you'll see like Vodoun or Santeria or Leukemia elements brought in, and sometimes very intentionally, and sometimes people saying you know, this helps explain them, and it does. And as I was studying Voodoo, I'll tell you, there's like, and it's understandable, there's a feeling in some Voodoo saints that they're angry and resentful when other people, like, take aspects and they take them outside of Voodoo, and they feel it's like stealing from the religion. Now, I don't believe that's the case with Loki. We know so little about whether he was worshipped, though we have a strong case for it. And we know so little about what he was considered the god of. And again, ancient pagans probably just figured, well, Loki is Loki. He will do different things. I mean, we have stories about him with the fishing net, and we have stories about him protecting the young boy by taking him out fishing and making him into a, you know, into a fish roe. And does this, like, say he had a connection in ancient times with fish in the ocean? We don't know. We have UPG that we can go on, and you should, because at one time it was all UPG. It's just some of it becomes more or less canon, and some of it doesn't. So, Loki gets a lot of associations like cinnamon. Now, some people will say, well, cinnamon's hot, spicy, that's why he likes it. It has a fire association in magic, and, you know, it's used for a lot of things. I put cinnamon in my coffee almost every day, along with ginger, nutmeg, and cloves. It's like a very, you know, kind of healthy thing to have on a daily basis. And you can look up what it does for your body, and you can look up what it does magically. But a lot of the things we have for Loki, he kind of had to borrow, so to speak, from different traditions. I'm pretty sure if you went back to ancient Germany or England or Norway or Sweden or wherever you went, you probably wouldn't have found too much cinnamon. And you probably wouldn't have found too many crossroad associations and keys and all these colors or everything. Or maybe it would have. We just don't know. It's all lost to us. Like, we know they destroyed the statues. We know statues were thrown into waterfalls, things like that. They probably were burnt, hacked to pieces, whatever. And sometimes for some of us, depending on what traditions you were taught, like I came from Voodoo, and I was taught it was very disrespectful for outsiders to steal traditions and just assign them to other gods. And it was usually a charge used towards Wiccans, but I'm sure they would use it towards Norse as well. But then you hear about Loki coming down in Voodoo and possessing people in Odin too, and you hear about Catholic saints doing it and that. And I don't think it's people play acting, and I don't think it's like a closeted Lokean or Odinist doing something, and I don't think it's people in Voodoo or Santeria or Leukemia or anything wanting to have it all, yet not allow outsiders to have anything. I think we forget that our gods do have their own will and their own mind and their own agendas, and they're not as segregated as we humans are. They're not going to say, well, I'm not going to have anything to do with that pantheon, or so forth and so on. And it's interesting that Loki and Odin are coming down as themselves, because there's a thing in, like, for some Wiccans, not for all Wiccans, to, like, lump all gods that do a certain thing as one god. And it's like, no, they're distinct gods. And yeah, I'm not very much of a good Wiccan, am I? But yeah, I'm more pagan. But they're coming down as themselves, and they're interacting with Voodoo Sans. And Loki is one of those gods that does that. He keeps pushing and he keeps collecting and amassing things. It's a good thing that he does this because it gives us a basis to work with them now. It really doesn't matter. I'm not a Reconstructionist by any means. It really doesn't matter what he had centuries and centuries ago because we might not be able to do that. He certainly couldn't do animal sacrifice if that's what he had. Try claiming it's your religion. You'll probably still get arrested. Uh, and we can't do a lot of the things that would have been lost to time. There may be like this whole tradition that's been lost to time and we'll never know, and there likely is. So we use what we have now, which is what ancestors probably did do. They used what they knew. And we know these traditions now, and these traditions have been brought in, and you can't like open the door and throw the cat out now. The traditions have already been brought in and imported, so to speak. But it's not done in a disrespectful way. It's not an example of Loki grabbing everything he can. We just have so little tradition for Loki that it's natural to want to go find associations. Like, I'm a kitchen witch anyhow, so I'm going to normally work with herbs and other things with him. And if you come from leukemia, Santeria, or Vodoun or something, you might find the associations natural and it might make sense to you. So I just kind of wanted to make a video on that, and I'm not trying to bomb you guys with videos, but I know for me it was like a period of adjustment because I was always taught it's highly disrespectful when people take anything from Voodoo and it's transferred to anything else. In fact, I don't believe in it, but there's like a lot of hatred for some people towards witches and other people because they claim they stole it, and then other people in Voodoo as well would say no, it was shared. We shared information back and forth, but we don't know the past. We don't know if somebody came in and just took it, or it was shared, or whatever. Or perhaps these traditions are all just similar, and now people are screaming over who came up with what first. That's always a possibility too. I mean, a lot of things are just universal. A lot of people will see red and they'll think either love or fire or lust or whatever. These are kind of universal things. So, I just wanted to share that and say, you know, it's okay if you're working with Loki and you feel called to something and you feel he wants something and perhaps it's from another tradition and you're worried about importing it. Like I imported, didn't know why I ordered this. I got another spinner today as well. And it turns out, you know, and I kind of always knew this, but the path I work with most is the cremation fire path. And Trident can be a symbol for underworld gods. It's also for ocean gods, but it can be for underworld gods as well. And maybe that does have something to do with his ocean connection. I don't know, but I like clearly felt drawn to it. And I felt this is like an important thing to have, and he's very pleased with it. You know, he's still Loki. He's more somber and serious, but he's still going to enjoy things like that. So, you know, I'd say when you're working with him, work with an open mind. Don't worry too much about what other people are going to think. People are always going to have a problem with you working with Loki in the first place. So, if you realize that a tradition is imported, or you feel for some reason like he's calling you to give him offerings that traditionally would belong to another god, like he likes milk with me, but there's like historical reference to that. But say you didn't know it, and say you only know about Ganesh getting milk, and you were like giving him milk. Don't worry about it. Loki will lead you to what he feels is appropriate and what he feels what kind of offerings or traditions he feels he needs. So, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up or I'll go on forever and it'll be like a 4-hour lecture about like, you know, working with Loki, blah, blah, blah. But I hope that made some sense. Sometimes these topics are really hard for me to talk about because it's, when you've been taught that it's wrong to import things, and then the longer you work with Loki, you realize, well, we really don't have any choice. We have like 0 to go on. Of course, we had to, in a sense, import things, but we don't know, again, if they are imported. We don't know if they're like classical associations. So I would say just do it with respect if you do it. Realize what tradition you're taking it from. And it's not culture vulturism if you're doing it with respect and you're doing it because you feel that's what Loki's drawing you to. He's a very complex god, and he will use everything from everywhere. That's pretty much a given. So I hope you guys have liked what you've seen, and if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.